This podcast was produced with the financial support of the European Union and the Culture Fund. Contents are the sole responsibility of Aloud and do not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union and the Culture Fund.
Hello, Linjani Dumelang Murigavo. Oh, my name is Nozwe Maposa, also known as Mapo. This is Girls Aloud, a podcast for every woman, every girl, everyone. It's an all things female podcast. Can you imagine? And our podcast is supported by Culture Fund Zimbabwe. Like I said, this is a podcast for every woman. So today we'll be talking about sexual health in tertiary institutions.
This podcast was produced with the financial support of the European Union and the Culture Fund. Contents are the sole responsibility of Aloud and do not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union and the Culture Fund.
Hello, Stha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for joining us in the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So, I understand you're a PhD educator.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, people say college it's a phase of experiment, your sexuality and all that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It is.
And
it definitely is.
Is it safe? What are the safest ways of going about this?
I can't really say there's the safest way of doing it,
okay.
But I best believe that the best way to go around it is have someone that you can talk to, be it it's a clinical nurse, a counselor, or a peer educator, someone who will help you understand the changes that you're going through or that you're facing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think abstinence is something that can be practiced in tertiary institutions?
Well, to a lesser extent, yes, I do believe that, because it's not everyone who's sexually active at university.
You think so?
Yeah. In fact, I pretty much know so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. I don't go too deep with this because the reason pretty much is like you say, I'm saying, but then it's fine. So yes, you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So yes, in as much as not everyone is going to practice abstinence,
yes,
but it's still fair to educate people about abstinence so that those who are not sexually active can practice abstinence.
Okay. So states, they say that 1 out of 5 female or women are abused sexually in their college time. Why do you think the number is so high?
The number one thing is because I think most university, or basically my university, does not have a policy against sexual harassment.
You think? Really?
Yeah.
So if you get sexually harassed, what happens?
You have no grounds, you have no basis.
Lay charges.
Who says you are sexually harassed? Because you don't have any parameters that say this is sexual harassment. If this has happened, then it's sexual harassment. Basically, it's something that we were still working on, right?
You are really raising a relevant point right now. I'm worried. They seriously. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So are you saying you're basically working on something like?
Yes, students were working on having the policy established, so that we can work on all those sexual assaults and all of that, so that everyone can understand when they're sexually assaulted also get the guts to go and report it
and talk about it. Okay, but then since you're working on this in the meantime, but then what do you think can be done to reduce the numbers?
Without the policy, I think the only way is just to educate people.
All right. But then do you hold these workshops as a peer educator? Do you have these workshops?
Yes, definitely we do. It's just that I don't understand people at times.
Right.
They want to be pushed to get this kind of information.
All right.
Right. But if people could just turn out in numbers, then it would be pretty much easier for peer educators to just disseminate this information each and every time.
Okay.
But for now, the best way is just educate them about sexual assault and all.
Oh, all right. Also, STIs and they're reported to be high in tertiary institutions than anywhere in Zimbabwe. Do you think students aren't educated enough about STIs, abstinence, prevention, and
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's not a matter of it being enough.
Yeah.
It's a matter of using the right people to disseminate the information.
Okay, so okay, fine.
Yeah.
What people do you think should be used to disseminate information?
Okay, so let me give you an example.
Yeah.
When I was a first year student, I was already sexually active and very wild.
Yeah.
And the people who used to educate me about SRH issues were very shy.
All right.
And they made it seem like sex was just, it's like you'll meet one partner, have sex, there are no STIs. stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not really true. I mean, we do a lot of things, a lot. So if we could have the right people who have been exposed to that word, or people who will not try to talk about those things openly, then I think it will go a long way. The message will definitely go a long way.
So do you think you're the right person for this? Like, as a peer educator?
I'm great.
Okay, but fine. Now, do you think it's a matter of negligence or not being well educated? And how do we handle either of the two?
Yeah, I think it's both. As a part of negligence, I mean, we do have condoms given for free.
Okay.
And then people come from the club just one night and then they just decide.
On the free condoms part, I mean, you're giving people amadimbare, like the mbajas, try the Jordans, whatever the name. Jeez, people hate those condoms. No, guys.
But those are not the only condoms that people are given these days.
Yes, and besides, you give people female condoms.
Exactly.
How many females out of 10 use female condoms?
It might be one.
Exactly, that's my point. Exactly. I'm not saying give a Durex or Carex, but I'm just saying at least just I'm a condom. Yes.
I do, but the bottom line is people are negligent. Yeah.
Okay, so then the education part.
Yeah. As per the education part, like as I already mentioned, if we work on people to disseminate the information, then as far as condoms are concerned, I mean, we mustn't just leave them by the toilet only. Even by the rooms, like
by the hostels and common room, so that when you get access,
you just get access anywhere and everywhere.
Please don't.
A condom is a condom.
Okay, what's it on this? Okay, can you talk about the lecturer-student relationship? It's as common as blesser and blessee relationship in universities. I mean, but then what implications does it have on female students and on the lecturer as well?
So on that part, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But from the little bit that I've seen,
yes,
it might have a negative implication on the female and
the student.
Relationships are so complicated. You fight, you break up, you make up, and imagine if you're a lecturer and teaching your girlfriend, and you are going through some stuff. Definitely she's going to be affected, getting low marks and stuff like that. So in terms of regulations, I feel like a relationship, that kind of a relationship should be communicated with the chairperson of the department.
No, but I'm just saying these are adults. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I think, okay, fine. My question is, do you think they should be regulated?
Definitely.
People have to communicate with the chairperson. I say, I'm talking about a boyfriend. I'm doing something like mama boyfriend.
It's different.
No,
it's
different. And what you said, the lecturer might give less marks and whatever. My point is, which means lecturer having a professionalism, because you should be able to separate your personal relationship, and your work relationship.
But let's be honest, guys. If we are being honest with ourselves, we both understand. But we have
those relationships outside the university, where someone is a boss and someone is under that boss or anything. But then so like I'm saying, these are adults. Do you think regulated for people to date lecturers?
I don't know, but in my own opinion and my own view, those relationships should definitely be regulated.
Okay, fine. Say you find a lecturer, the junior lecturer, he's 30, he's looking nice, and you like him. What would you do?
I'll definitely go for him, but I will follow the regulations that have been going.
Go to the chairperson.
Yes, definitely. Those are the regulations stipulated by the university, so I'm going to go through with them.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah. Let's just leave that one. Okay. We've had female students. Okay, some have died, and trying to abort. Right. Do you think those things should be regulated at school as well? Abortions, fine. Let's not talk about the Constitution first of all, but then
abortion.
Yes.
Well, it's very hard to talk about abortion within the institution and not
in the Constitution. Okay, fine. You can touch the Constitution as well.
I feel like abortion should be legalized. Should have been legalized a long time ago. I mean, what's the point? What's the basis of us not legalizing abortion? it still happens.
Why do you think it should be legalized? What's the point? What's the basis? Why do you think it should be legalized?
It's because we do abort at the end of the day. I mean, we are under so much pressure, and we are in so many circumstances that at the end of the day, we find ourselves carrying the babies that we don't want to mother in the future.
Right.
So the best way at the end of the day, you just want to abort, but then you can't because the law is against that. So I think we should really
Interesting. So can you just talk about revenge porn? Why? Why is it common in tertiary institutions?
I think the first thing is because we're too experimental. And we do a lot of things in that phase.
All right.
Like just pleasing your partner, pleasing yourselves, taking nude pictures, sex-tapping and all that. And then at the end of the day, and again, on the experimental phase, I mean, you just move from one relationship to another. There's just so many people. You meet a new guy every now and then. So at the end of the day, so many hearts get broken. And when they do, the best way to get back at your partner who left you for someone else is revenge porn. Just leaking their sex taps, leaking their pictures.
That's very petty. Anyways, but then these are very hard on female students than they are on male students. Why?
True. I think it's the conformed rules of the society. I mean, it's always been male dominant.
Right.
So people really don't care about men. Men can pick themselves up. Men are men. But as a female student, I mean, you've lost your dignity and something of that nature. So I think we should actually try and change how we look at females and males as well.
So why isn't anyone being arrested for distribution of his porn videos and all that?
Yeah, I think it goes down to cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is really not taken seriously. I think...
But then, I mean, your reputation is ruined, like...
Yes, it is. But then, it's like... I think cyberbullying is like day trip in Zimbabwe. People basically don't care about that. I mean, it happened. It It ends up being your fault other than someone else's fault. There's no victim.
Can you just talk about the queer student? For now. If peer education platforms, I mean, like SAYWHAT, put anything in place for the queer students?
To be honest, not that I'm aware of.
Why? Because we have many queers in tertiary institutions.
Very, very true. Very, very true. I actually have lots of friends who are queers. But the problem is, I don't think they are pretty much looked into. Their matters
Why
are
not?
addressed.
They are students as well. They have sex.
I do not have any idea whatsoever. Maybe it goes down to the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I don't know.
Fine. So, but do you think the female student is more vulnerable to sex health hazards in these tertiary institutions?
Well, yeah, they are.
How? And how do we make them safer?
So the first thing is most girls lack confidence. And I mean, you're having sex with this guy, you don't mind to check his penis, as rude as that sounds.
Yes.
And if he says we can't use a condom, you just want to agree to it because he's a guy, you're in love. I mean, if you're confident enough, you can tell that guy, nigga, we need to use the condoms. So yeah, I think they're more vulnerable due to lack of confidence. So
we'll divert a bit and talk about mental health. Right. Mainly it's just it's linked to their relationships, student relationships. Right. How do we protect our students from these mental health problems, mental breakdowns, student suicides, and all those mental issues?
I definitely say we really need neutral individuals. I mean, sometimes peer educators can be looked at as biased. But then if you have counselors within the school, I mean, psychological counselors, it could literally help students. I mean, a lot of students need counseling, they need people to talk to, but you have no one to talk to because, I mean, it's university. You know, you tell someone your story is going to be out at the end of the day.
Good dog eats dog, very.
So, you know, if we have counselors, clinical nurses that are not biased, it would really be easy because you find someone to talk to, someone who's not going to laugh about your matters or take them to the newspapers and all of that.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Can you just take a break, and then after the break, we'll look at audience reviews.
Thank you.
This podcast was produced with the financial support of the European Union and the Culture Fund. Contents are the sole responsibility of Aloud and do not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union and the Culture Fund.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just go straight to the responses. The first one, Oti, the campus nurse at school is very loud. I know a lot of people who don't go to seek help because of her.
That might be true.
Yes.
I've had that before. I've really had that before. But again, no one can be 100% efficient. Hence the reason why I think that we should have more counselors.
All right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Speaking of counselors, other one said my college counselor was never really helpful. You'd go to her with genuine problems. Instead of helping, she would start laughing at you. Judging you instead.
Okay. At first, I think we should really, really know who we're hiring.
Okay. As an institution.
As an institution. In terms of their qualifications.
Okay.
Is that person really a professionally trained psychological counselor?
But then, okay, fine. Can I
pick
just cut you off a bit?
Yeah.
Some people, fine, they might be, qualified, okay. But then I just think probably these people when they're going to these institutions, they have this mentality of ama students, they just misbehave. Like, they just feel like they're under the more school. You get what I'm saying?
That could be true as well. Very, very true.
Okay.
But then at the end of the day, we do need those people.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I guess it's something that we have to work on until we find a better solution. As for now, we just have clinical counselors and clinical nurses and psychological counselors. So that's basically what we have to stick to.
Okay, further. Okay, that one. So I think no matter how sexual health is preached and at these institutions, when these students, or rather, let me say youth, move away from their parents, they start to misbehave. And I don't blame the parents for that. I'm sorry. Most of those kids come from very strict backgrounds. You can imagine what happens when they test freedom.
That is also true. But unfortunately, I was never from that kind of a background with strict parents and all that.
Yes.
So I can't relate. But although I do know of such situations, and so yes, it takes us back to education. So now we're not saying we should only educate students. We also should educate parents.
The parents as well.
Parents should know that they should engage with their children. They should engage because they're at a stage where they're experimental and they're learning more and they're getting exposed to freedom.
Okay, because I've seen some students at school, at the end of the semester, they would leave their jeans behind at school. Because
that's very true.
Okay, moving on. We would see more students, women especially, female students especially, tend to use sex in return of favors, be it food, groceries, distinctions from a lecturer, and all that. So to try to protect your child from all this, make sure umntanakho ule month allowance, that can just go a long way. To buy food.
In as much as we can make this sound so simple, it's not. Let's look at the Zimbabwean situation. The economic situation is so
then you have to use yourself.
Sweetie, at this point in time, your parents have done enough to pay for the fees. And is it
the only thing that you need though? Do you need fees only? Or because you need food?
No, you don't need fees.
To print assignments and you need to go out.
But then let's check it out.
Yes.
Would you rather not go to school? Because they can't afford groceries.
Of course not, but then would I rather have a blessy that we spoke about relationship or lecture relationship that we spoke about earlier on.
If we're not being hypocrites.
Yes.
Where exactly is the difference? I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking. What exactly is the difference between the blessed relationship to that of a boyfriend? Because at the end of the day, it's a relationship. You're having sex.
Okay. That's quite interesting. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, so fine, moving on. Ganti vele, what's with these varsity students and sex tips? Phela thina sesabahambisa abantwana bethu to certain universities.
Yeah, about that. Unfortunately, the world's changing. Everybody's trying to be bougie. You know?
So then you think about seeking, like they're looking for relevance through the sex tapes.
Definitely. I mean,
what really happens in these universities?
On the sex tape part, I can't really say because I'm not even aware.
Okay.
But I just assume that sometimes it's desperation for attention.
Right.
Sometimes it's just being trying to be someone else. I mean, people are being very out there. They're really trying to be what they're not.
Okay.
You see.
Okay, moving on. Some of those kids, when they go to varsity, bahamba be straight. But when they come back, it's either they're gay or lesbian. It's so worrying.
Yeah. On that part, sometimes it happens that someone would have actually noted that they're not straight from the word go, but they have been pretending to be straight because they're home. And then when they're out there, they now feel like, why am I doing this?
Why am I hiding? Because my mom is not gay.
Exactly. And you find a very attractive partner and you're like, you know what, let me just get out with it and then let me just be gay or let me just be lesbian. But sometimes it really happens as a matter of heartbreak. This one, I have seen it firsthand. A girl gets heartbroken like 3 times and just like, no, I'm done.
So like we said earlier on, we should really look at mental health among students.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So moving on. When you see at university, you have a choice of actually coming out with a death certificate, marriage certificate, birth certificate, or the degree certificate that you initially went to school for. I think university very sort of like Gomorrah. What's your take?
I'm not disputing that. I'm not. It's very, very true.
Okay, but then I'm like, okay, there's a lot happening in these institutions.
Yes.
Okay, how do you balance the two? Like, okay, fine, not the two. Fine, but there's a lot. Yes, how to balance school, the marriages, the death, and all that. How do you balance? So, just stay clear from all these things on as landang school and get what you want. Because we've already spoken about using sex to get food. We've spoken about sex to get relevance, to be relevant.
Yes.
To gain relevance. So, like, how do you avoid that? Do you teach that as peer educators?
Yeah, but it is taught. But, you know, the environment itself, it's just so enhancing.
Okay.
The environment, the environment of a college or university, it's what enhances all those activities.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, above teaching, I mean, people should just understand who they are, you know.
All right.
You should just understand who you are, what you're here for, and what you like, you know. Personally, I would go out and party.
All right.
Like, I would. And then the next day, if it's a Sunday and I want to go to church, I'll pick up, wear my formal, wear my heels. And I wouldn't let anybody tell me that, Stha, why are you going to the church? I mean, you just came from the bar yesterday. And, you know. So, basically, you need to understand yourself. If you want a relationship with God, if you want to have fun, at the end of the day, it's all about you and setting your mind straight. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Stha.
Thank you for having me. I've had such a blast. You're funny.
You too. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Girls Aloud, supported by Zim Culture Fund. Join us next episode as we tackle more interesting girl issues.